Our first presentation today is on Kik integration. So I'm going to introduce the three people that came all the way from Waterloo to come and present their expertise. We have Mike Roberts. He's the VP of Mobile Engineering at Kik. He has been with Kik for 8 years. That's almost since the beginning, so he knows his stuff. And he is big in mobile innovation. That's his key focus here. So next we have Laura Newton. She is a project manager at Kik. And her focus is on building and delivering user experiences. So she's really big on key-facing components for us. And she's been with Kik since 2014. Last, we have Ashton Rankin. She's also been with us since 2014. So like I said, these are experts. I know their stuff. She started in QA, but now her focus is on Kik product health. And that's all encompassing on Kik stability, performance, and responsiveness. So let's hear it from the three of them.
Okay, so let's see if we can get this mic positioning right to start off with. I heard there was some karaoke last night. Is that why we have okay, low attendance? Good. People enjoyed themselves. Important.
Lots of the people who are back already.
Okay. Well, okay, so like I said, all right, so not quite as high. Perfect, okay. So I'm going to be talking about Kik integration, so I'm just going to be kicking this off a little bit. Actually, the bulk of the presentation is Laura and Ashton, who are fantastic product managers from Waterloo. And as was said, I'm Mike Roberts, VP of Product and Engineering. I've been at the company a long time, 8 years. That's a hell of a long time. It was 5 people and basically a broom closet and an accelerator once upon a time. And there was a show of hands yesterday. I want to kind of do that again. So who knew about Kik before Kin? Who used Kik? Okay. Who used a BlackBerry? Okay. Who used unsynced music product back in 2010? Anybody? Oh, damn, really? Wow. Damn, I thought that was going to be no one in the audience. I thought that was my lock there. No, okay, never mind, one person. I thought I'd go back to the start and just give some context because Kin is actually buried very deep in our roots. So Waterloo, 2008, it was a BlackBerry town. And by BlackBerry, I mean a thing with a black and green screen, a thing with a side wheel that you had to click, programmed it in C, you loaded it with a serial port on your computer, but this was the future of mobile. This was something we had the privilege, really, of seeing early because when you were a co-op at Research in Motion, which is BlackBerry, in Waterloo, you got one of these. You got to carry it around on your school terms. So you were really cool, right? You had a hip holster with a black and green screen BlackBerry in your pocket. You were the coolest person on campus. But it meant you got to see the power of having an always connected device attached to you. That started with email, but really the core win there was BBM. This cool little messenger. But the problem was, it was tied into the BlackBerry ecosystem. It meant the only people you could chat to were these other privileged people who had BlackBerries in their pockets. And so what Kik actually started as was a music product. It was called Unsynced. But the problem was we wanted people to be able to share music seamlessly with all their friends and family. We wanted them to share their playlists. We wanted them to engage in that content. But we didn't have a platform that would allow us to distribute that way, right? Our friends were getting these newfangled Android phones, and iPhone just came out and was going to destroy BlackBerry, but they didn't believe it. And then they had BlackBerry. So you had to talk across all these ecosystems. And we thought, well, BBM is great, but what if it was everywhere? And so we switched focus a little bit to actually kickstart the music product by launching a messenger. And we did that, and it was kind of a crazy time because this was the first time ever, and this is why there was a lot of press around us, a product went from 0 to 1 million users in a week, right? We went from 1 million to 2 million in 10 days. That had never happened before. And this was all the excitement of mobile in one big headline. Kik Messenger grows to 1 million users in a week. Holy crap, that's amazing. And then the market really started to take notice, and it got kind of saturated, right? Group messaging wars of 2011. There were 4 up on the big board. South by Southwest. This is going to be the thing that was going to, this is going to drive a lot of, and there was a lot of hype around it. And then we went through this period where it was crazy. There was literally a messenger launching every single month. Imagine a new competitor walks into your space every single month. It's a nerve-wracking time. And then Facebook. Facebook comes along and really wants their share, right? Beluga ended up getting acquired by Facebook, which became the underpinning of Facebook Messenger. This is when they got serious. And when a big monopoly, and if there's a, no, I don't see Eileen, the lawyer, in the, I'll say the word monopoly since Eileen's not in the audience. When a monopoly like Facebook shows up and wants to play in your party, it's a really hard thing to play against. So we pivoted a little bit in our strategy. And we've always had platforms at the heart of Kik. You know, we built a native platform first in 2011. We built a web platform first in 2012 and 2013. We built a smart TV platform, which is a bit of a digression. We built bots platforms. And we've actually had a lot of success here, especially in driving adoption. So one word by Zynga, we went down to GDC one time, partnered with Zynga. We got them 1 million users on their game in 24 hours. That is a powerful platform. You might not know Koala.law. It's basically, they were one of the card platform developers. But this unknown developer who hadn't had other success in the platform, we got them 1 million users in 22 hours. That is a really, really impressive level of engagement. And so we have this power to connect developers with communities. We also have this power to connect people to people on our platform, right? We have that in our DNA. It's about meeting new people. It's about making friends. Your username is the most powerful thing about Kik, because you can put that anywhere and you can connect one community back into your core audience, back into all my friends list on Kik. I can have group chats with them. I can connect with my other friends on Kik. That username is the most powerful way to spread that network across all other networks. But we always had one missing piece of the puzzle in all of these platforms, right? Build, grow, monetize. That is extremely important, right? If you're going to build a product that's going to engage users, it's really important that you can actually benefit from that you can keep that running, right? You've got to pay your developers. You've got to, you actually have to keep the servers running to keep this infrastructure going. And we didn't want to play one of the two games that was out there, right? Either extract IAP revenue from a bunch of whales using all these dark product patterns. We don't want to do that. Alex was talking about product yesterday. That's not what we believe in. We also didn't want to play Facebook's game. Fighting against a monopoly that has all of the world's attention in one platform, that's not a winning proposition. We don't want to play that game. And like all things at Kik, it's baked into our product ethos. There's probably a third way, right? 1, 2, there's always a 3. And Kin is sort of our 3. What we recognize is we have a really creative, diverse set of users. And what we want to do is just build tools to empower them, right? We want to create a platform where they can drive value for each other, and then we can reward those users based on that value. That's why it's deeply ingrained in Kin. This is a problem we've faced personally. This is something we understand very deeply. And we also think it's something we can uniquely solve. And that's what Laura and Ashton are going to talk about, or how we think we can use Kin in the personalization and meet new people areas inside of Kik to actually drive real usage for a real audience. So with that, I'll turn it over to Laura, and she'll talk to you about next steps on personalization.
Thanks, Mike. So my name is Laura. For those of you I didn't get to meet last night, I'm a product manager at Kik. As I mentioned, I've been with Kik for 5 years almost. So it's been a while. Today, I'm going to be talking about personalization, and specifically the user need that we have at Kik to provide personalization options. Then I'm going to be talking about how we can use Kin to meet that personalization need. And then lastly, what is our roadmap and how do we get there? So first, what is personalization and how can we use it? So users really want to be able to do things like make custom stickers of their cat and express themselves in ways that resonate well with them, decorate the spaces that they fill. These users are nice enough to give us their time. They spend time in Kik in these digital spaces that we provide, and now they want that ownership for those spaces. They wanted to be able to make it look and feel how they are with their friends. So historically, we've launched lots of personalization features in the past. Good old Zuckerberg here. We've done things like GIFs, we've done stickers, we've done smileys, we have chat bubble colors and emoji statuses, but after all of these features, we have lots of success with these features, but users always want more. So they want to be able to get that niche content. They want their local sports teams, their favorite TV shows, and they want topical content. They want things that happened just this week. They want to be able to share it with their friends and talk about it now. So has anybody heard of the yodeling boy, the Walmart yodeling kid? Yeah? Okay. So last week, or I guess a couple weeks ago now, this kid stood up in Walmart and yodeled to the world, and it immediately caught tons of recognition on YouTube, so millions and millions of views. But more than just a YouTube video, the internet gets its hands on it, and then we have things like memes, we have EDM remixes, Walmart just threw a concert for the kid last night, and 42,000 people streamed it live, which is crazy. So these things are really important in pop culture. They fuel our conversations. They're an inside joke that we can all share with each other. And right now, that doesn't get to happen in Kik. We can talk about it, but we can't pull this content into Kik. We can't have users get their hands on it and play with it. And that's what we want to facilitate. So how do we do that? We need to empower users to become creators and then compensate them for it. So that empowerment, we need to give them the tools that they need to make the things that they want to have with their friends to express themselves. And the compensation, we can use Kin to directly compensate them for the passion that they've put into it, the work that they've spent. So Kin really can solve this problem for us. So how do we see this looking? What I really would love to get to is a creator marketplace. In this world, anybody can make content. Anybody can have the tools they need to express themselves and create this content and get compensated fairly for it with Kin. And then everyone can find that content that resonates well with them. So they have that niche content. They get that topical content in time. So in this world, we have our yodeling kid, and he goes trending. And then now, say overnight, we have a sticker up immediately. Or we have a chat theme, and maybe it's not the prettiest chat theme, but it's really topical and resonates with our users, and you can share that in your group. It can fuel your conversation. And it's now users can participate with it in Kik. So how do we get there? I'm going to be running you guys through our roadmap now, which we're really excited to share with you. First, we're integrating the Kin SDK into Kik, getting it in the hands of users, getting wallets created, and Kin in their wallets. Second, we're launching a personalization feature, specifically starting with themes. Third, we're expanding it to let users to be able to create their content, to create these themes. And then lastly, we want to facilitate the consumer-to-consumer sales. And this is where we see the big value. So we're really trying to focus in to get to that number 4. So diving in more detail, first we're starting with our Kin SDK integration. So Alex showed this screen yesterday, so it should be sort of familiar. We're going to be putting the SDK in our main menu for a small portion of users and then rolling it out from there. We have Kin balance. You can create a wallet and get a balance, earn opportunities and spend opportunities, and really start introducing the currency to users. Next, we're going to focus on a personalization feature, and we've chosen themes for this. Themes are a really immersive way to get into the personalization mindset, have content that resonates well with you. So the way that this roughly works is we're going to have a theme preview section. You can purchase it with Kin and then apply it to your chat. And when I apply it to the chat, it's shared with all of my friends, all this group. So if we're all in a group chat, we can have a Kin theme, and now it's the background for everybody. It's our shared space. 70% of users specifically requested this feature. So it's a great indicator that users will latch on and start using it with Kin. So from there, we want to start allowing users to create. We want them to get their hands on tools that they can start making this themselves. As I said, we can't keep up with the topical content. We can't have our ear on the buzz at all times, and we can't cater to everybody's niche interests. So by allowing our users to create these themes, we can start to meet those needs. So for example, if I'm a huge gamer, which I'm not, so I might lie a little bit here. If I was a gamer and I was a Fortnite player, and say I use Kik to talk to all of my friends that I play Fortnite with, I can then create this theme and set it. We all see it. So now this room that we hang out in online is decorated to match our interests and who we are as a community. Then expanding on that, we want to be able to allow these users to sell them to other users. So once I make that Fortnite theme, I want to be able to sell it in Kik's marketplace to other users, millions of users all the way across the world. To do this, we want to kind of look at revamping our marketplace. We can do things like trending and categories, and there's lots of places that we can go from here. But really, it's facilitating that consumer-to-consumer sale, empowering users to create themes, and then compensating them with Kin. So just to recap, once we get there, once we get to the end of themes, we can do a million things from there. We can look at GIFs and other digital content. We can even look at things beyond digital content. We can do services. Maybe you find your next math tutor on Kik. We can do things like featuring and trending and more tools and statuses. We can start playing around with the user experience of how they're interacting with Kik and Kin, and maybe do things like crowdfunding and tip-based payment. So there's really lots of opportunities from there. So we're focusing on the fastest path to get to this consumer-to-consumer marketplace, and then can blow it out beyond that. So just to recap, step 1, integrate the Kin SDK and Kik. Get users familiar with this cryptocurrency. 2, launch it in themes, something that users really want, something familiar, a digital good, and bridging it with the unfamiliar, this cryptocurrency. 3 is expanding to let users create their own, and then 4 is letting them sell it to other users. So Kin really makes this all possible, right? When we look at this at Kik, we're trying to figure out how can we utilize this cryptocurrency to solve the problems that our users have and that we as a company have. And this is a great opportunity for us because we can compensate those creators. They're putting in the time, they have the creative energy. Now we can use Kin to harness that and take some of the pressure off Kik as a company to meet all of these user needs. So now I'm going to hand it over to Ashton, who's going to talk about how Kin can meet the user needs of our Meet New People experiences.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So if we haven't met, I'm Ashton, and I'm going to take us through the history of Meet New People on Kik, some problems we hit, and how we think Kin can help us uniquely solve those problems, and a specific product that we're currently working on that we're excited about. So I love making new friends online. I have some really close friends whom I only talk to online. And online relationships are just as important to me as in-person ones. These 3 statements are things that Kik users are more likely to say than the market average. So what this means is Kik is more than just a utility messenger. Kik is a Meet New People messenger. Our unique opportunity is connecting users online. We know about half of our users come to Kik specifically for meeting other Kik users, and 72% want more ways to do just that. 35% of users turn to our open platform to meet other users today. So about the open platform, one of the first places we saw it was with the web platform. Third-party developers were making Kik-optimized websites for introducing users to each other. This could have been like a list style or a Tinder style swiping, but these types of experiences always jump to the top of our ranked top sites list. Then we got the bots platform. We have many bots out there that are about introducing users based on topics, just random one-on-one matching, and these are always among the most popular. And then we also have a native solution with public groups. As you can see, make friends was one of our trending topics for public groups. And public groups is something that really resonates with our users, and we know that because we've actually launched it twice. So the first time we launched it, it did really well. Users loved it. They were adopting to it. But we started to hit these problems pretty quickly with moderation of content in the groups, the group topics themselves, trolling and harassment inside of the group. And ultimately, we made the tough decision to remove it. And the reaction we got from our users was passionate. They made Twitter accounts saying, bring back hashtags, bring back public groups. They made a change.org petition to us to actually bring it back. Yeah, that was a funny day. But it was quite clear to us that we had to bring it back. We wanted to bring it back. We loved public groups. So we put some changes in, which I won't go through all the details, but growing the safety team, tooling with moderation, and we were able to bring it back. And the reaction, again, was passionate, but more in our favor. They were saying, you know, I'm crying, I'm in love. Yeah. And for me, this was a very pivotal time because we always known that Kik users want to meet each other, but here we saw just how much they cared about it. You know, public groups was something that allowed them to meet other friends about stuff that they cared about, and that's why they came to Kik. So what this means is we need to empower these communities and reward for great conversations. And we're going to use Kin to do that. So here are some of the problems we're currently trying to work with today. We need to facilitate community-driven moderation. So our group moderators do what they do today because they love their communities. And the members, they show their appreciation, but what if we could really highlight that appreciation? We could give these moderators Kin for the value they're really providing to our communities. We need to allow users to reach out in a way that feels safe. In a survey we did, 20% of users said that they wanted more ways to know that the person they were talking to was real or safe. But those same users don't want to do the Bumble-style verify your profile picture with your hand on your forehead and Kik verifies you're who you say you are. But maybe there's a Kik unique way where we can do it. Like users want to set live photos of themselves. And maybe if we do that with the camera, it can build a trustworthiness. And every single time a user does these things that builds up a trustworthiness to their profile, we reward kin for that. But the most interesting problem that I'm going to dive into more is mitigating trolling and bullying in a chat. How do we make people be nice on the internet? Kin is a unique solution for influencing positive interactions and really enhancing the meet new people experience. There we go. Okay, so working title, still trying to do the branding thing, but momentary matching. What is this? Users are opted into being matched with other users in a one-on-one chat. Ideally, they're matched on things like the profile interests they put on their profile, so they're meeting those people they have a common ground with. In these chats, users are anonymous, so we had their profile picture, their username, and their full name. And the reason why we want to do this is, say we're in a chat, you're not judging me based on how well I took my selfie. You're judging, are we compatible? Do you like having the conversation with me? And then these chats have an expiry where users are asked, hey, did you enjoy the chat, yes or no? If yes, do you want to reveal who you are and keep chatting? Now, why is this our first bet for a Meet New People kin integration? 4 things. 1, it reinforces what makes Kik unique. We're a Meet New People app. 2, the data from consumer insights research tells us that our users want it. 56% of users said they wanted to meet people with similar interests. 44 wanted Kik to randomly match them. And 54% wanted to anonymously chat with other users. And we hit all those boxes. This feature may help users feel more comfortable connecting online because of those hidden profiles. So now if we're chatting and say you're a jerk to me in the chat, I can just leave, you don't know who I am, and we're not chatting again. So I might be more comfortable to opt into this experience over and over again. But again, the exciting thing is kin can make this experience better. It's not just a monetary barrier. So a little bit of how we're thinking about integrating kin so far. We're thinking we're always going to have a free tier. You can always join for free, meet people for free, chat for free. But then we have a tier on top of that where you're putting your kin down. You're saying, I'm going to spend 500 kin on this chat because I care about it. And then after you're chatting, if you're a good chatter, you get that kin back. If that person upvotes you and says, yes, I liked this, you get your kin back. And maybe we reward the people who are continuously having these good chats with a little bonus on top of that. And where does the bonus come from? It comes from the people who are downvoted, the jerks. They don't get their kin back. Yeah. The way I like to describe this is a bar. So some of you may have went to a bar last night. I could go to a bar with no cover charge. It's probably going to be packed because it was free to get in. Probably going to bump into a ton of people. And some of those conversations might be great. Some of those conversations I might want to run away. But then I go down the street and I have a bar that has a $10 cover charge. Everyone in there's paid $10 to be there, so they have a little bit of incentive to be, a little nice, maybe not so rowdy, because I don't want to get kicked out. But here at the Kik bar, if you were great and you helped improve the environment there, we give you your money back when you leave. So what we're really excited about here is the psychology that goes into putting your kin down and really incentivizing you to have those positive conversations and really enjoy your time in these communities. Cool? So I talked about the history, some of the problems, the one we're most excited about here, and I'm going to bring it back to Mike.
Wrong hands here. All right. I'm going in the wrong direction. There we go. Okay. So we heard from Laura and Ashton as the 2 unique opportunities for Kik. And what I want to highlight here is really 3 things. Kik is a digital service. And we know we have a unique role to play in the rollout of Kin. I know a lot of you probably, when you read our prospectus originally, said, hey, I want to jump on board with this because this is a huge opportunity. This is an actual real company with a real product in market. I've never heard of that in crypto. I'd never heard of that in crypto. I don't think we have another example of that in crypto. So we have a unique role to play, right? We have to jumpstart this economy. We are going to give this out to our users. We're going to create some first examples for you, for everyone in the community to copy. We're going to drive a pretty big adoption with our already existing large user base. So we'll carry that Kin flag. We know that's part of our job at Kik. The other thing I want to highlight is we're focusing on opportunities for Kin, not because of Kin. Right? Yes, we definitely are one and the same company, but at the same time, the reason we chose personalization to meet new people is because they're actually better with Kin. We're talking about a bar where when I go there and I pay the cover charge, when I walk out the door, if I was good in that bar, you know, the bouncer just pulls out a tenner and like hands it on the way out, right? This is a great reward mechanism. This is saying when you behave well, we want you to participate in more conversations. We want you to ante up. We want you to feel like you have skin in the game, so we make this a more positive community together. That's why I'm excited about these opportunities, not just because of Kin, which is great, but because it's better with Kin. And the third thing is, what we're also doing is creating examples for the community to copy. Right? We get to carry the flag. We get to show why things are better with Kin. And then we get to give those ideas out to the world, right? We get to give those up so that everyone else can follow us, everyone else can copy us. We want an ecosystem. We don't want to be one app. We don't want to be the monopoly. I don't want to have to, you know, hand out the secret dark patterns product book to all my product managers so we can monetize in the App Store. I don't want to do that. I want us to build a constellation of services which support each other, which build a strong community, a positive interaction between users that we can reward with Kin. And so that's what I hope we can do with Kik. That's what I hope we can do with personalization meet new people, is show you a way that your products are better with Kin, and then let you copy us. So with that, we're going to have some time for questions. We'll have Laura and Ashton come back up. I don't know, how long do we have, guys? 15 minutes. Look at us. We're on time. That was not bad. We've got 15 minutes. All right. So we'll go, I guess, front to back.
With the Kik integration, are you guys still going to have like those sticker packs people can unlock? Because I have a feeling with 8 million active users, you're going to have like a couple whales that just want to buy like 100 million Kin and just pay half of them.
So to repeat the question for the camera, with the Kin integration, are we still going to have the unlockable sticker packs? Is that going to be part of this? I think, Laura, you can probably answer that best.
Yes. So for now, we've kind of decided to focus elsewhere. So the first IPLv2, it was just unlockable sticker packs, but there wasn't that transaction. You weren't buying them, you were unlocking them. So now we want to try and think about that buying experience and what will encourage users to buy, what do users want to sell. So we're kind of moving away from stickers. We're looking at themes as our first purchase. And then the earn opportunities that we're providing, we're having things like surveys for ways for users to get more Kin. And then there are other spend opportunities included in the marketplace as well, like some gift cards and online experiences too.
Another hand back here. All right, the man who's used unsynced.
So, primarily when I use, I've had Kik for a while, and I have my practical application for Kik is on my phone. And it's boring, but there's women that have Androids, and to be able to do like FaceTime, I use Kik, right? That's my practical application for it. I don't know what else to do with it. Right, there's some chatbots out there, something like that, but that's pretty much what I do for FaceTime. It's my interoperability between iPhone and Android for FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what I do. What other applications do you have?
So I guess sort of the question is, more broadly, you know, Kik, there's a lot of messengers. There's a big portion of the market that's served by interoperability between iPhone, Android. How do I connect users between these two different ecosystems? How do I let them message? And so sort of you were mentioning FaceTiming and you know, chatting in general. So what are the use cases specific to Kik? I think we're actually not in that business as much, right? We're not in the commodity messenger business. We in 2011, we certainly tried to play that game. One new competitor every month was a tough thing to live through. But our focus has definitely shifted on to meet new people. Part of that is the strength of the username initially, right? We know that was baked in our DNA from day one. Well, day two, right? We launched with phone numbers, then we launched with the usernames. We said, oh man, this username thing is way better. Let's go that way. So that's been baked into our DNA from day one, and so we're leaning much more strongly in that direction now. So it's less about the commodity use case of I have an iPhone, you have an Android, let's get together. That was a weird gesture to make. I'm on video. Great. Okay. But it's not iPhone, Android users connecting. It's we have a shared interest. It doesn't matter what platform I'm on. It matters how we can connect. Maybe Kik can be that bridge into other communities. I think Meet New People is definitely a great place to start that up. Ashton, you want to mention the Meet New People?
Yeah, I would agree with everything. Yeah, we have some of the feature parity with some of the other messengers out there that you would look for. And some people do use it for those things like you're saying, but the majority of our users actually do come for meeting others and the interactions that they get with those other people. And we see that when we just talk to users one-on-one or do the surveys, and we see that in the numbers. And so that's really what makes us unique. And by focusing on that, that's what's going to set us apart and help us succeed. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I think those person was on there, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen that you can find a chat room, but navigation-wise, don't really have too much insight as to where you're going with that. Finding problems for it.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really fair point. And I think a big part of that is that we've been playing two games for a long time, right? We've been playing the game of we're a commodity messenger going toe-to-toe with one of the largest companies in the world with 10,000 developers behind them, Facebook, right? We've been playing the feature parity game for a long time. And we've also understood this huge market opportunity to meet new people, but we haven't leaned as far in that direction. So I think over the next 6 months, well, no timelines, over the next, period of time, you're going to see Kik sort of expand much more into the meet new people. That'll become a much more prevalent experience inside of Kik, because I think that's where our core strength is. That's also that's a moat where Facebook can't come to compete with us, right? They're much more real world identity, need to know everything about you so I can sell advertising. That is not a space they want to play in. Yeah, there you go. I can't repeat that on camera, but I agree with your sentiment.
I was going to add that it's interesting you asked that question because we're having those conversations. Like Snapchat opens to the camera because they are a camera app. They want you to take that snap and forward it on. We're having those conversations now about how do we open. Today we opened your chat list because it's about the chats, but how do we make it more about meet new people if that's what we are? And we are having those conversations now. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
So I don't use Kik that much, but a big discussion is the group sizes. Like we use Telegram now for crypto because we're 7,000 people, and there's no possible way to use Kik, which is sad in a way, but we would like to use it instead. Is there are you going to increase the group size later on, or?
Yeah, technically speaking, putting on my engineer hat for a minute, there's a lot of technical debt issues that we're trying to deal with specifically around groups. There's a huge difference between a one-to-one conversation, a group conversation with 50 people in it, a group conversation with 500 people in it, and a group conversation with 5,000 plus people in it. So going from 50 to 100, not that bad. 50 to 500, not that bad, because 90% of your groups are still only 10 people anyway, right? But going from that 500 to 1,000 to 5,000, that's not a problem we've solved architecturally yet. But it definitely is something we're thinking about. Personally, when we launched Kin and we said, yeah, we're going to have this community on Telegram, like, but wait, we're a messenger. What the hell? But we're not that kind of messenger. So there was a piece of that that said, we were very much focused on a younger audience, a much more US-centric teen demographic. Not exactly a crypto space, Telegram is a crypto messenger. To their credit, Telegram has, had their core from the beginning, privacy and those sorts of doctrine. Won't talk about their product at all, but so it definitely made sense. That's where the community was living, and we wanted to go to the community. But it definitely makes sense for us to think about how to bring that community home into Kik. So I totally get your point, and there's a lot of work we have to do technically, but we're putting in the work. The trader in the Dogecoin t-shirt back there. Okay.
So are you guys gonna do like a feature unlock thing as well that you can pay Kik for? So like say I wanted to do like a Snapchat style video or something where you pay Kik to unlock those features. And then my second component to that is like if people were to be able to design these features and be able to upload it to the platform, like you guys could use this way people who code could do something like Snapchat where it automatically detects the face and it'll go years whatever on it, that kind of thing. And then this way the developers can monetize that, or are you guys keeping it strictly to like a visual theme kind of concept?
So the question is two parts. So first part is unlockable content. Are we going to be focusing on unlockable features inside of Kik? And the second part is, will developers really be able to participate? Am I capturing that correctly? So will developers be able to participate there? So to the first part, unlockables, we're trying to avoid that strategically because that's not honestly an area that a lot of other developers can follow us. So it's kind of uninteresting to us specifically. We have a pretty big audience, so unlockables would be great for us. We could drive a lot of transactions. But at the same time, it's not really the same opportunity that a lot of smaller and mid-sized companies can actually follow us on. So we don't want to focus our attention there. There's also lots of regulatory issues fraught in that same space, so we're trying to avoid that. But to your second question on can developers definitely participate, in our DNA from the very beginning, we talked about cards platform, we talked about bots platform, so there will definitely be surfaces inside of Kik where developers can definitely participate in this. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. And the way I think about personalization specifically, not as much meet new people because that's sort of core feature, but personalization is one of those opportunities. It's not developer so much as it is the creative side, but I think of developers and creatives as sort of two halves. But it is a surface where they can innovate on top of. I don't know if you want to speak more to that.
So other things to add to that, just in the creative space, so as Mike mentioned, not developer focused, but I am very much thinking about how we can have different unlockables for creators, different access to different tools to be able to provide different content, things like statuses even. Maybe you have some unlockables through Kin, but some from having the most transactions, most sought after content or something like that. So there are different things that we want to be able to offer our users at different kind of stages throughout their creative career.
So when the Kin integration actually takes place, are there any strategies to help Kik users that might not know what Kin is, adapt to all these new features that are coming in, or do you just expect them to figure it out themselves?
So the question is, when we actually do the Kin integration into Kik, are we going to be doing anything to help our pretty consumer-focused audience get an understanding of Kin? Because it is a pretty new technology. I'm not sure if, Alex, I'm not sure if you want to talk to that at all, or
I can also talk
do you want to? I'm going to run down here and give Alex a microphone for a second.
So the SDK itself takes care of all the basics exposure of users to Kin, right? So the first time the user goes and opens the wallet is created in the background, and the user goes through a basic onboarding of what is Kin, why this is interesting, how does this work, and a basic overview of the marketplace itself, right? So we don't assume anything from the digital service that integrated the SDK. So the user gets a full explanation. But that said, every developer has the freedom to actually decide what other ways they want to promote Kin. So basically that.
Yeah, so Mike, I can expand on that as well.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
when we're integrating the SDK into Kik, always going to be mixing those up. When we integrate Kin into Kik, there are going to be certain things that we do as well to try and ease that transition. So in themes specifically, we can almost treat it like a loyalty coin, which is something that users are really familiar with. So we've done some user testing already, and immediately users get it. We ask what do you think Kin is? What do you think you can do with it? And they're like, oh, it's probably a currency. I bet you it's a digital currency. I can use it in Kin. Maybe I can use it elsewhere. I haven't seen it anywhere else yet. So we have a younger user base. They're not maybe crypto connoisseurs, but they're tech-savvy people. So they learn quickly and they understand. In the absence of understanding, it can just be considered as a loyalty coin. They know I can go and earn it and I can spend it, and it's all within Kik, and that's okay. We don't need them to know that they can go and trade it online or they can use it in other places. So we have those kind of 2 levels of understanding, and then as we get more ingrained in Kik and kin starts to appear in other apps, we can kind of continue to educate our users.
Sorry?
We have to move on. We can do more questions in the break.
Oh.
If you
Okay.
guys want to talk, potential people, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys so
Well, if
much.
you want to find there, sorry. Come on, talk to us. Thank you.